Hello everyone, it's me and I am back with face cam. So my skin allergy, infection, whatever the fudge it is pretty much cleared up. As you can see here, this side of my face on Friday, oh god, it was like it's really big, but it's pretty much come down. I still got a few more days of treatment to go, but I pretty much look back to normal. Skin feels weird though, but otherwise I look fine. But anyway, so tonight's very brief video is going to be about the first official trailer clip, or at least the first one I've come across, for the live action version of Mulan. So I'm going to, for the most part, judge this clip on its own merits because, as I said in a video that I made last year about some of the first trailers about it, that this has nothing really in common with the 1998 animated film, so it's not fair to compare it to something that really only shares its name. So, for the most part, I'm not going to be comparing this clip to the 1998 film. I'm going to be judging it on its own merits. On its own merits, but I have two concerns. One is Mulan's temperament in the film, and the other is how exactly she's convincing the soldiers that she's male. So let me explain. This clip shows her in, of course, right, she's supposed to be a guy, right, so she's in armor, they all think she's a man, right, it's supposed to be her at the training camp. Right now, the clip is very short, because it's just, the actual movie clip is short, and then the rest of it is just like the other cinematic trailers that they've released. So what happens is that someone gets pushed into her, right, and she falls over, and I'm guessing that the fellow soldier who's supposed to be playing Shang, or at least representing Shang, right, but in the unit as opposed to being the leader, like trips her or something. It doesn't even look like he trips her. It looks more like she falls into him. Right, and he just doesn't really react outside of to, like, give her a bit of a cocky chuckle, like a something to that effect, right? So again, just keep this in mind, right? They're soldiers in camp. Something has happened, and one soldier's pushing another soldier into him. He falls over, and then the other guy, right, that he falls over against and then into, right, doesn't really move, doesn't really respond, and just gives a light chuckle. Right, so what does Mulan do in this situation? Girl gets up, draws her sword, and points it at his neck. She drew a sword on him. Like, that just went from like 0 to 100, just like that. Like, if this were like modern day terms, like a modern day military, it would be okay, someone doing some goofy hijinks or whatnot during, say, like PT, right? Physical therapy. Not physical therapy, sorry. Although they're gonna need physical therapy. But physical training, right? The physical training part. Okay. Like the physical fitness test and all that. Alright, okay, fine. Yeah, that's gonna happen, right? People are going to cut up, and the drill sergeant's going to get in their face and make everybody drop and do 100. Okay, that's understood. But just imagine that, guys are just, clowning around a little bit. Someone gets pushed into someone else, and that person falls over, and the person that they, like, crash into is just, like, laughs at them, and then they get up and like, draw a pistol. It's like, you've just escalated this so much for no reason. It just seems so over the top and just such a needlessly aggressive response, especially when part of military training, whether it be in the United States, modern day America, or in ancient China, is about teaching soldiers discipline, teaching them, at least ideally, teaching them to control themselves, right? To not respond to every act of aggression with pulling a weapon on somebody, especially when they're your own comrades. And on top of that, now to be fair, right, the guy that she draws his own sword, and so then it becomes a bit of a Mexican standoff, or would it be called an ancient Chinese standoff? I don't know, but I'm just watching this like, is that what they really think that like masculinity is? That it's just being hyper aggressive and like ready to fight all the time? Because that's just a really negative and inaccurate depiction of masculinity. And I get it, okay? I know that the face might fool you in the name and everything, but I'm not a man. I'm a woman. I'm a tomboy, but I'm still a woman. So I'm not going to assume that I know every single solitary thing about the male psyche, but I have been around dudes. I have a younger brother. I've been around men in some fashion for pretty much all of my life. I don't think most men would argue that the proper response in that situation is to draw your weapon, right? Because now you've just escalated the level of violence, right? I would imagine that like the way I would see it is that like okay, if she like gotten up and then pushed him and he pushed her back, and then like, you know, they start like you know, wrestling, scuffling or whatever, right? Fist fighting. Okay, that I can understand. That would make sense. That happens to everybody, right? If you haven't been in a fist fight, you haven't lived. But to draw your weapon, that just seems just so over the top. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Maybe the idea is that, you know, she has this overly aggressive view of what men or what masculinity or what being a soldier is, right? Maybe that's the idea, that she's trying to, like, you know, post up, you know, be hard and all that stuff, so that she'll be taken seriously. But still, I'm just like, that's concerning to me. That's just a concerning. And again, you know, it's out of context, so all I can do is just rate it on its own merits. But that, to be honest, that doesn't make me want to see the film. But to be fair, Donnie Yen's character, Commander Tung, who of course is taking over the commander part of Captain Li Shang, comes in, he breaks it up, and of course in this very spinny, over-the-top thing, this sequence where he disarms them both, which I guess makes sense given the style of the film, right? It's a wuxia film. Wuxia films and just, you know, like Chinese, Hong Kong cinema in general is known for a lot of spinning and wire work and all that. So, okay, that's fair. That's expected. Not gonna complain about that. But her drawing a weapon on him, that does concern me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is how she's convincing them that she's a guy. Because here's the thing, and here's where I am going to draw a comparison to the original film. Now, to be fair, both in this one and in the original animated version, right, she only passes as a man on a very surface level, right? She does things like speaking in a very, very deep voice, thinking that all men sound like this, right? And trying to, like, you know, put that like you know, super squared up, kind of like walking like a bodybuilder, thinking that's how you walk like a man. Walk like a man, talk like a man. I can't even go that high. I can't get as high as Frankie Valli. But anyway, so, but that was part of the humor of the film, right? The film kept leaning on the fourth wall and leaning on the fact that she had this very exaggerated idea of what it was to pass as a man, right? It made fun of the fact that it was only by virtue of the nature of the film that no one realizes up until she gets injured and have to treat her upper body injury that she's a dude, right? it leaned on that. It got its humor out of that. Like during I'll Make a Mad of You, right? He like grabs the front of her uniform and he yanks it forward, and everybody's like, if he just looks down, right, he'll suddenly realize Ping is not quite what he says he is, right? Or what was it? There was a sequence in the original film where like she like wants to take a bath or whatever. She like wants to be away from all of the guys, and then they all like come bathe where like she is, and she has to use like the lily pads and all that to like hide the obvious physical differences between her and the rest of the guys, right? So that made sense there, right? The audience is kind of in on the joke. But here, right, it seems that because, of course, it's a totally different film, that they're doing a much more serious take. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. But if you're going to do a much more serious take, then, at least in my opinion, you need to give a much more serious and plausible reason for these soldiers to be reasonably convinced that this is indeed a man in their midst. How is she hiding the fact that she's a woman outside of the armor? Because I'm looking at her, I'm like, she just looks like a woman with her hair bound up, right? Not too dissimilar from what I have, except that my ponytail is tiny as all hell and in the back, whereas hers would be further up on her head. But it's not too dissimilar from how I look right now, right? The hair is pulled back, right? I don't look like a dude just because my hair is pulled back. So unless we're supposed to treat this like Clark Kent's glasses, right, where he has them on, he's Clark Kent, he takes them off, he's Superman, and somehow we're not supposed to realize it's the same person, although everything else is the same, including the hair curl. So unless that's how this is supposed to operate, I don't quite understand how they're being convinced that she's a dude. There is nothing dude-like about her. Nothing. Not the hair, not her face, not her voice. So I'm like, really, how are they convincing her of this? Or rather, how is she convincing them of this? Because if you're not going to have the humor, if we can't be in on the joke that she's really a woman, right? And she's one moment away from being discovered, if we can't lean on that, and we now have to believe that they think that's really a man, it's like, how the hell is she passing? What is it? What is it about her that is causing them to think she's a guy? She isn't wearing a fake beard. So how is she doing this? That's what I want to know. But anyway, that's the vid, and that's the clip. Let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all around. Also, I've had a few new subscribers. Welcome. I hope you continue to enjoy the content, and for those who've been here, I hope you continue to enjoy the content. I'll see y'all around. Have a good day, night, whatever it is you're doing. Be safe. Have fun. Bye.